Obviously, you've recently opened up about the mental health challenges that you've had, the substance abuse. Can you run us through that story for someone who may have not come across you before and maybe have not got the depth of that? Because I think that's going to be a really valuable part of the story that a lot of people can take value from today. So if you could go through, like, from the very beginning, where those mental health obviously you spoke about they started to come up a little bit in your childhood based on some of the things that you experienced, but when did they begin to manifest and when did that turn into substance abuse? And if you could run us through that story, that would be incredible.
I'll circle back to how we started this conversation. So the top 1% mentality was developed as a child. Then we moved through childhood, sort of seeking affirmation and all of that. And then, you know, I was hanging around in sort of South London with the friends, and I was tricking at an age of about once I'd finished college was when sort of the drug use started, and I was started sort of smoking weed and things like that. It was a social thing, you know. I was an acrobat, and we would train, we would play video games, and we would smoke weed. And it kind of started out with this just like casual use thing, and then I picked up an injury after a very big job I had. So I was in a film called Mary Poppins Returns, right, and it was a real highlight of my career. And literally on the final day of my contract, because my ankles were so overused, like as a dancer in the industry, you are like bottom of the pile. And when they say jump, you say how high, and you just have to be ready. And if you're not, someone else will take your job. And we'd been doing like weeks and weeks and weeks of rehearsals and filming, and it got to this last day, and my ankle just completely shattered on set, and I ended up having to have a reconstruction. I've got a metal ankle now, and you know, at that point, like my power was taken away from me. This is the thing that I was known for. You know, in my industry, I would turn up into auditions, and all the other dancers, which are incredible, would, if it was a tricking job, they would know I would get this job, right? Because that was my thing. I made myself like the best tricker in the UK who could dance. And so that was taken away from me and my reputation. And obviously your ego takes a massive hit. So then the substance abuse started to get worse, and I started smoking weed sort of every day just to null the pain that I was going through. And because I didn't know who I was away from this, like without, when your hobby becomes your job, and both are simultaneously taken away from you, like it's really hard thing. And you know, I found myself, I couldn't communicate with my family because I'm used to going, oh, I'm doing all these amazing things, but now I'm left with nothing. And then, you know, that snowballs over time. I got a little bit of a handle of it, as we often do. You know, we talk about it in fitness with yo-yo dieting, right? We start making some good headway, something happens, then we start to slip again. It's exactly the same with the substance abuse. So it was actually very, very recent where I was at my worst. It was in the first lockdown when, again, so when I was talking about Mary Poppins, my power was taken away. Then I get on the mend, I fix myself, I get back to working, I get a job, I'm working, all of these brilliant things are happening, bang, lockdown happens. Again, it's all taken away. And then I fell into cocaine, you know, which is quite rife in the adult entertainment industry, unfortunately. And I started using it daily to avoid the pain that I was in. I was in a relationship I wasn't really happy with. I was living in a house I wasn't really happy. I had no other area of my life. My career was taken away. And Dreamboys, like the best thing about them is we're all a family. We look after each other. And that was also gone. So the family that I could tell all my problems to, even if I wasn't successful, for example, was then taken away. So I sort of fell back into the drugs, and it was, honestly, it was awful. It was 3 months of back to back every day, ringing my dealer at like midday because I just couldn't face the days. And it's taken me sort of until, you know, recent months. I'm talking within the last year where I've really kind of got a grip on it because I found my why again. And I think that's the most important thing that I could really impart with anyone. It's like, if you have felt anything close to what I felt, where your power's taken away, or you feel a loss of identity, or you feel stuck, you always do have the power. You just need to find like the why, and the why has to be worth the pain that you're going to put yourself through to get to the goal you want, right? I think that's all I have to say on the sort of subject, but that's how bad it got, and that was my mindset, how I got out, because I found someone that I fell head over heels in love with. I found the job that I absolutely love. Dreamboys is the best thing. Everyone is so supportive, and as much as we might seem really cocky and egocentric, they're the most loving people and the most accepting people ever. I've never felt more included in anything in my life, and it's the same with us, with our fans. You know, it doesn't matter ethnicity, gender, who you love, whatever. Everyone's allowed to just be in a room and feel safe and express themselves in that room when we're there. And that's a sort of a big staple for why I do what I do. So when I found all of these things working and I was on a positive spiral, and motivation only goes so far. Once I had the motivation, I took action, then I found my discipline, and through discipline the motivation then stays, because you continuously get these small goals that add up, up. And now I look back and I go, well, thank God I did all that work, because now what I've created here is worth way more than anything I could go back to. So my eyes are just looking forward all the time.